was from Dr. B. Urombo and Dr. M. Kruger, an assessment of the key tour guide competencies to create memorable tourism experiences in Zimbabwe's tour guiding sector. May we give our presenters for this afternoon a round of applause? Thank you very much. Now I hand you over to the ministry. Mr. Runyowa, Director in the ministry.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Mzondo. You have been in the cockpit for the whole of this afternoon and you have driven the program very well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him another huge round of applause. Like he indicated, it has been a roller coaster day. We started in the morning, 8 presentations we got, and now we have come to that point in time where we need to get closer to the end of the day. I'm sure if you look at my left, it means that today is also going to be a day where we reward people who were making the presentations as well. But before we go to that session as yet, we want to reflect and say, as we're going through this symposium, where does it take us to? What's next after this symposium? There ought to be something that we will do informed by the proceedings of the day. And to lead us in articulating that for the benefit of everyone who is here is none other than Dr. Nyarwata, who will give us the way forward informed by this tourism symposium for the year 2019. Our hands together for Dr. Nyarwata.
Let me say thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies, and I also want to, at this juncture, to say thank you very much to Dr. Zinyemba, who is, or has been the other side of Masters of Ceremony, because they've done a splendid job. I think if we can just give them a round of applause. Now, it's very difficult at times on a situation like this when you spend a day getting presentations from academics covering areas that range from perceptions to infrastructural development and investment. So what I'm going to do is that I won't spend a lot of our time on these matters because, as the director said, there is another function that needs to be done in terms of the prices. In terms of way forward, basic, I think 3 things. One, what we would want to do possibly next week is really to give the ministry a policy brief, which then takes into consideration all the things that we have been dwelling on, and then again touching on some of the recommendations that we've come up with. That will hopefully give the ministry some kind of a leap forward to say these are the things that are in the industry. Yes, we are cognizant of the fact that the depth of research in some of the areas is still minimal, but at least the ministry will have something to work on. So that's the first way forward. A brief for the ministry, hopefully next week. We have, by the way, I also want to recognize our 2 rapporteurs. Ladies, would you mind just to sort of stand up and wave, because we're not being seen at all, but you've been doing an extremely wonderful job, because you're going to depend on yourselves in terms of this brief. I think a round of applause for them. Thank you very much. So that's one. Secondly, from the very beginning of the planning of this conference, the planning committee, which was composed of UZ staff and the ministry, we were agreed that a lot of the material that will be presented in this conference need to be publicized. And I think fortunately, the Faculty of Commerce has got what we refer to as the University of Zimbabwe Business Review. This is a peer-reviewed journal that goes international. So what we're going to do immediately after this session is, of course, to get the detailed papers from the presenters. We will then give them to Mfundis within the country to review those papers and then put them in a manner that is international in terms of standards of published papers. They will look at them, advise what needs to be done for the papers to be published in the UZ Business Review, because it's very rigorous, that publication, in terms of what goes there. And we will, obviously, as UZ, want to sort of guard jealously on the quality of the papers. So I think colleagues that did some presentation, this is just sort of a warning to say the reviewers are coming back and say, please go deeper and match the quality of UZ Business Review. Thirdly, what was very interesting, I think, for all of us was really the partnership that we had from ILO. Because the indication that the international organization is also interested in the things that we want to do. What's then critical going forward is that there are a number of areas where we would want to work with other partners to go deep into the topics that were discussed, so that then we undertake some in-depth research in a variety of areas. Those areas, again, one might remind ourselves. Firstly, I think the last bit, Wasai, when he was presenting, we saw a very interesting model in terms of infrastructure development. If we look at our pricing system, again, there's a need to look at that and what kind of models can we use, which then makes the destination competitive. We also, again, during the day, had presentation addressing matters of the courses that are offered by our different institutions. Those are things that need to be looked at. Because obviously, it's nice when we are sitting here to talk about changing of programs, but academic institutions from my 10 years here at the university are very traditional in certain ways, and therefore you have to find a way of changing the programs, which then means that in essence we need obviously strong inputs from the industry, because what we are teaching need to be industry driven. That again takes me to the matter of perception that we're looking at. And those perceptions from the industry are a result of a reflection of what we are churning out. There were also issues of employability of university graduates. Again, we need to go deeper into that in terms of research. And obviously, issues of gender, we sort of touched upon those, and again, youth employment. And of course, again, what are the core competencies that the industry is looking for in terms of the outputs of institutions of learning? Again, those are areas that we need to go deeper in terms of the research that need to be undertaken. All of those things will do two things. Firstly, they will feed, hopefully, into appropriate government policies. I think, again, the last speaker was talking about policy inconsistency and a number of things. Therefore, part of it really is a lack of adequate information for policy makers. So the view and the hope is that all those studies will then inform our policy makers, so that then Zimbabwe as a tourism destination becomes more competitive. And finally, the industry itself. I think one presenter was talking about millennials and saying we have to be very careful because you're now dealing with a different employee altogether. And our sense is that we need to go deeper into that so that then we can properly inform and advise the private sector. Because as the jobs expand, which is going to happen, it means then the people that you are taking in are not Generation X or Generation Y. These are the millennials. And therefore there is a need to really understand that so that we advise our industry effectively. And finally, chairperson or master of ceremonies, just to say the coming together of the public sector and the private sector and the international organization, I think it's a very good start, so that then as we move forward into next year, maybe the ministry, we are hoping, I think I speak from the University of Zimbabwe perspective, we are hoping, yes, with all the bit of tributations that we went through today, we will have some form of an annual event that will happen, which will then give us an opportunity to say, if we're gathering again next year, we'll say, the things that we talked about on the 4th of September, what has the industry done? How has it assisted the industry? How has it assisted government? How has assisted the training institution? Have we changed our programs, and are we seeing any change? Master of Ceremonies, I think that is at the moment our way forward. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nyarwata. Let's acknowledge him once again. And I think talking about your last point, just to assure the House, 2020, definitely we are going to have another tourism symposium. What we only need to deal with is which institution will be free to host it. If it happens again that the University of Zimbabwe becomes the only one that comes forward, then probably we'll be gathering here again, but we are hoping that we'll be taking it to another institution of higher learning, and we'll also be able to reflect, like what he said, on issues that need to be done. I think, ladies and gentlemen, just to whet your appetite on what is going to happen next, all the presenters who have come forward, the 8 of them, they will all get certificates from the Ministry of Environment, Tourism and Hospitality Industry. These certificates, I think they will show that they did present this, and I know I can see Dr. Matsikanda when they do performance appraisals, maybe they will consider those certificates as well. Then, in addition to that, I'm also informed that all the presenters, they will also get, I'm failing to pronounce this word, a honorarium. I don't know what it is. Honorarium. But I think in simple terms, it's an appreciation in monetary form. I think it will, the amounts will be announced as we proceed. But I think this is also again coming courtesy of the Minister of Environment, Tourism and Hospitality Industry. I think we need to acknowledge that one. Out of the 8 of them, I think only 3 who now qualify for the last edition of the recognition that will come. I think this is in the form of trophies that will vary in size depending on who comes first, who comes second, and who comes third. I think that's the last form of recognition. But I think just having been here and also to be able to see your work published in the work that Dr. Nyarwata has talked about will be enough recognition. I think at this juncture, I will now call upon Dr. Matsikanda to please come forward and assist us with the presentation of the prizes to our presenters. I think first and foremost, maybe before he comes, can I get all the 8 presenters to probably come this side? All the 8 presenters. I think let's give him a round of applause as they make their way. I think you can just face the I think in terms of the gender scan, we didn't do very badly. I think out of the 2, 4, 6, 8, the 10 of them, I think 4 are ladies, yeah? So it's 6 out of 10. 60% is dominated of the sample is dominated by males. So we're not doing badly. I think these are the presenters that are going to be rewarded. So now I will now call upon Dr. Matsikanda to now please come this side. And I will also probably ask, maybe you can just stand here, Dean. I will also ask Dr. Matskanda, as you know, tourism is government-led, but private sector-driven. I'll ask our colleagues, the directors from the ministry, to please come forward and assist Dr. Matskanda in the presentation of the prizes. Dr. Msao. Then I will also ask Ms. Muchanyuka, please, on behalf of the private sector, you will also assist. So I think we will start with the presentation of certificates. I think for this one, we are sure that everyone will be getting them. And I think I'll be getting the names so that at least we know, and we'll call you here, you come here, you get your certificate from the dean, he gives you a handshake, you shake the other two colleagues who are here, then you pause briefly for a photo shoot moment. It's a very important, you probably, when you retire, you want to show your granddaughters that I was once given a certificate at the University of Zimbabwe, and they'll probably be wondering why this old lady or this old woman, whenever she is angry or is angry, begins talking in English. Then you say I was a lecturer at one moment. Our first to get the presentation is Mr. Finos Matura. All the way from Great Zimbabwe University. I think we'll get the photo afterwards. Okay. We have someone taking the photo, please, just quickly. Okay. Thank you very much. The next to come forward, Marvelous Mangwiro. Marvelous Mangwiro, if you were presenting with them, please just take it on their behalf. So it's for Marvelous Mangwiro, also for Molini Mwando, and Maziveli Tisser, that's yourself now. Yes. Let's acknowledge them all the way from the Mashonaland West, Mashonaland Best, Chinhoyi University of Technology. Thank you very much. Thank you. We will now have Dorothy, MF Zengeni, Dr. Zengeni, and Ms. Blessing Muchenge. From the University of Zimbabwe, Varipo Pamamonya Ipao. Thank you very much. Let's acknowledge them. We will move on. We also have Aretha Chakaza. I'm sure she was working on this presentation with Mr. Matura, all the way from Great Zimbabwe University. He will collect on their behalf. So you will show you that on this picture I was standing in for you. Then on the second one it was myself. We also have Mogomotsi Nameto Bochelo. I'm sure she's from Botswana, but she represented by Dr. Zengeni. And also Dr. Zengeni, Dr. Baba. Dr. Baba Zengeni. The other one was Dr. Mai Zengeni. This is Dr. Baba now getting his presentation from the Chinhoyi University of Technology. Let's acknowledge them again. Thank you very much, Chinhoyi University. And I'm sure you are also aware that you have not hosted the symposium. Mr. Dr. Urombo, Brighton, and Martinet Kruger, there were the two of them. I'm sure you are taking the two of them. Thank you, Dr. Urombo, again enjoying his Kodak moments. Thank you so much. Again, Dr. Urombo, you will take this one on behalf of Dr. Chikuta. Please go and hand over the certificate to him. You will not get the photo shoot on his behalf for reasons I will explain later. Dr. Shepard Nyarwata and Dr. Mbasera, please come through from the University of Zimbabwe. Pamamoya Babu. Please smile. Thank you. We also now get PJ, Mr. PJ Sai from the University of Zimbabwe. And I think his name makes it easier for him to smile as he gets the photo. If you just say Sai, automatically you're smiling.
All right, Sai. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And our last but not least, Mr. Golden J. Mandela. Just try to smile, say. You're too serious. At last. Thank you very much. Let's acknowledge here, Mr. Mandela. You can take your seat. Thank you. I will kindly now just announce that the money, they will be deposited in their accounts. And they will not disclose the amount. I think I know, I'm aware that one or two people had already come forward to say, so and so presenter owes me so much, can I get a garnish order? And so forth. So please, we are not going to announce the prizes, but we'll be letting them know through their accounts. Okay, thank you very much. Can I have Ms. Faranis and Ms. Sibia, please, to come forward to assist in the handing over of the last segment of prizes. Like I said in the morning, Ms. Sibia is the legal advisor in the ministry. So when I call her, I will be doing so mutatis mutandis. In legal terms, it just means as if she's the one who is doing it. So I now have the results. I now know who is going to come forward, and I will disclose it now. Ladies and gentlemen, out of 8 contestants who made their presentations at the University of Zimbabwe, all were given certificates. Now the final 3. It's number 3. Mr. J.P. Sai. From the University of Zimbabwe. He's now going to be given his shield and prize. Yes, let's acknowledge it. His presentation was titled Investment and Job Creation in the Tourism and Hospitality Industry in Zimbabwe. Mr. J.P. Sai. Another huge round of applause for him. Now, to the top 2. It was a very tightly contested, but the judges, upon serious considerations, in a transparent manner, without any undue influence from the presenters and the participants of the conference, they settled for the presentation, which was entitled A Critique of the Contribution of Tourism to Jobs in the Southern African Development Community, co-presented by Dr. S. Nyarwata and Dr. M. Basera. Ladies and gentlemen, again from the University of Zimbabwe. I'm sure it's a coincidence, eh? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's give them another round of applause as they take their seats. Ladies and gentlemen, Now for the big prize. The ultimate prize for the 2019 Tourism Symposium, which ran under the theme Tourism and Jobs, a Better Future for All. The winner is, do you have a guess? Any guess? This side? Okay, let me assist you. They scored the highest number of points according to the tallies that I have here, and their presentation was titled Profiling Millennials as a Labor Force in the Tourism Industry, Implications for Zimbabwe. Ladies and gentlemen, our winner, Mr. Finals Matura. All the way from Mashingo, you can see the millennials are happy. He's overwhelmed, he's overjoyed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sure with the celebration you can see how many sleepless nights he had combining this presentation. His presentation crossed the Mutirikwi River, Pimbi River on his way to Harare. I think let's acknowledge him once again. Yes. Wow, wonderful. Let's acknowledge him as he takes his seat, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, and to Dr. Mazikanda, the Dean, thank you so much, and all the colleagues who are assisting you. Thank you very much for the work that you have done. And now, ladies and gentlemen, there were so many people who made this tourism symposium a reality. Some were just taking notes in meetings, others were chairing meetings, others were driving people to meetings, others were making tea for them, others were doing the sponsorship, others were giving approvals, suggestions, and all. We all need to be acknowledged. And for that, may I now call upon the President of the Tourism Business Council of Zimbabwe to give us a vote of thanks, Ms. Winnie Mshanyuka. Some always want me to say the P on the title President is small, but I don't know whether it's small or it's silent, but she is the President of the Tourism Business Council. Our round of applause for Ms. Mshanyuka.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. May I begin by observing all protocol. Today really was an exciting day. Yesterday I was chatting to the girls in my office and I was saying, should I go or shouldn't I go? What am I going to be doing there the whole day? But let me just say I've had an exhilarating day today, and the presentations that we saw today were really provoking to the mind and the things that we need to do as team tourism in Zimbabwe. Some themes came through from the presentations and the discussions that we had today. Amongst them were a need to close the gap between government and industry, government and academia and industry in producing the kind of graduates or developing a tourism industry that would work for everyone and a tourism industry that we'd all be proud of. There was also an issue that came through about the employability of graduates and what industry was expecting and what academia is churning out. There are also issues that came through about the workforce, the issue of gender and females employed within the industry and how they are remunerated. There was also the issue of millennials that also came through as an issue that needs to be paid attention to. Then there were also issues that were looking at tourism from a regional perspective, looking at the labor, the tourism perspective, as well as the academic studies that are being conducted within the region. And then lastly, there was the issue of investment and job creation, as well as entrepreneurship, that would point towards the sustainability of the tourism industry in our country. What I see, or what I saw through the presentations that were done today, was that there is a lot of great work that is being done. But this work is being done in silos. And there doesn't seem to be quite some cohesion in the three silos that I identify here as academia, industry, and government. So what is required of us is a greater collaboration so that we can be more fluid in the things that we would need to do as an industry. There needs to be deliberate policy from government, there needs to be aligned curriculum from academia, and there needs to be financial support and input from industry, so that the things that we are wishing for, or the things that we'd like to see come through in our industry, come to a reality. Before I go into thanking all the people that were involved in this day and its possibility, I wanted to just take advantage of the fact that I've got the microphone and say, it's always heartwarming to come back to the University of Zimbabwe because I'm an alumni. And even more heartwarming to see all my lecturers here, and they must be proud of what they produce. They produced me and they also produced Matul, the winner of today. And let me also brag a little bit and say, Matul and I were in the same class and we used to copy from each other. But having said that though, let me start by thanking the Ministry of Environment, Tourism and Hospitality Industry for putting together activities around World Tourism Day celebrations, of which the symposium is part of. Thank you to the ministry and the ministry staff that are all here present. Also, thank you to the ILO for the partnership they had with this symposium and the research that will ensue from today going into the future. We had Dr. Nyarwata speak about the research that they will conduct going past this symposium together with the ILO. I would like to thank the University of Zimbabwe for hosting this symposium. Well attended, well organized, we were all happy and we are fed up, as in we had enough to eat. We also thank the other academic institutions that were part of organizing the symposium, as well as attending it, and the speakers that were here today as well. The speakers and all the those that contributed to the papers that were written and presented here, a big thank you to you and the insights that you gave us today and the homework that you've given us going forward. We would also like to thank the support received from the state-owned enterprises under the Ministry of Environment, Tourism and Hospitality. Thank you for your support today and for those entities that were able to attend. Big thank you to the Tourism Business Council of Zimbabwe and its subsectors and those that could attend today. And last but not least, all the students that were able to attend today. I hope you were attentive. I hope you were able to learn a thing or two from what was discussed here. If I have forgotten anyone in this long list, please forgive me, but a big thank you from all of us here, from all of us in industry, all of us in academia, and all of us from government. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Last but not least, oh yes, now for the winners. The two MCs, I'm just joking. We started the day with a prayer. We dedicated the symposium to the Lord. It is befitting that we also end the day acknowledging the wonders, the blessings that the Lord poured upon us. It was a very successful symposium, and we learned a new formula. Success equals P, plan. The symposium was well planned. Plus R, resources, we got the resources that was needed. And A, action, and indeed, all the lecturers, all the presenters, all the organizers really were in full swing for the action. So let's bow our heads and thank the Lord for the blessings, for the wisdom, for the guidance. And as we go home, we request that you send the Holy Spirit to chase away any evils that may befall us, and that we do get our destinations. Safe travels, everybody. Siyabonga, thank you, zikomo kwambili, muito obrigado, merci beaucoup, Katinda Chomene, muito obrigado, danki, asante sana, safe travels.